Welcome back to Smashing Heads Podcast. This is going to be our recap for Double Agents, episode 13. As always, my name is Zach, and I'm joined by my wife, Hannah.
Hi.
And my best friend, Jake.
How's everybody doing tonight? Let me tell you how I'm doing tonight. Because
you didn't even let us answer.
Tonight, well, I just wanted to get right into it. Because tonight is a special occasion. You see, there's been this, whatever you want to call it, a pandemic.
Yeah, it's a good word for it.
And so, we've all been trying to be safe, considerate, and
polite,
whatever word you want to throw in there. And we are all in the same room tonight. And when I walked into the door, y'all's door tonight,
you let yourself in for one.
I did, and I was so excited. I walked downstairs, which is where we watched the challenge, and I like the word giddy. I was giddy.
That's about right.
I was laughing, and y'all looked at me like I was crazy.
Well,
and
you failed to mention how you ran around the upstairs by yourself talking to yourself before coming down.
What I can't understand is why you guys aren't as excited as I am.
You guys aren't?
why is you guys isn't excited as I am?
Well, so it's already, just for a reference point, we haven't recorded on a Wednesday night in a long time because Wednesdays are
so hard,
not good for us to record on right now, and so
we had to tonight.
We had to tonight because
we're going to be in the
we
same
didn't
room
want
tomorrow.
to. We had to.
We had to. I mean, we want, ideally, we want to record on Wednesday nights.
No, ideally, we want to record on the night that the show premieres, because it used to be on Tuesdays or something, right?
It's just Wednesdays.
I know
it comes out on Wednesday.
It's Wednesday now, but we wish it didn't premiere on Wednesday.
Yeah, okay. Well, in an ideal world, we would get screeners and record on Monday nights or something.
Yeah, but nobody trusts us with that kind of information. So.
Although we've not been proven that we shouldn't be.
If anything, we've proven the opposite.
But if anybody was going to talk, Han, I think it'd be you.
No, it'd be Zach. Zach's a loudmouth. He cannot keep secrets.
Jake's known me so much longer than you have.
And you should know, he can't keep secrets. I can keep everybody's secret.
The problem is,
really
Han,
good at it.
Not only would you talk, but you would get it wrong.
She put out there that somebody left the show because their kidney exploded, and it's nah, they're still there. In fact, they won that season.
Right. Well, you would. So, Nam went home because of his back tonight, right? Which we'll get into, and we'll let you go on your little diatribe here. But you would, instead of just simply saying that Nam went home because of a back injury, you would find some reason to pin it on, I don't know, Lolo or CT or somebody, when that just wasn't the case. His back went out, and he went home.
But why do you think his back went out? Because he was carrying his team, which included Lolo.
Well, we're not going to... Well, it only included Lolo.
Exactly. He had to carry his own weight and hers.
So before we get into any of that, we're not going to jump into tonight's episode yet. Real quick, a couple of plugs. On this past Saturday, Jake and I actually jumped on another podcast's Twitch stream, and they're the Couch Podtators. We plugged it last week that we were doing it.
Han was sleeping, by the way, before anybody wants to, knock us for not having her join in, too.
I was not. I was out of town.
She didn't get home until after we were done.
Yeah, she was sleeping. She was sleeping out of town.
I was sleeping while driving home, sure.
So, anyway, Jake and I did it. It was us and the Couch Podtators. They're the ones who put it together. And it was us versus...
the world.
The Right Reality.
Well, it was I believe his name was Steve from The Right Reality.
Yeah.
And then Ephraim, and I'm sorry, but I forgot the other guy's name from the You Killed It US podcast.
That's not nice.
Well, I met Ephraim in Nashville, and so I remember him. And we weren't calling each other's names. We were to buzz in, we had to yell a word from our podcast name. And so he wasn't yelling his own name. If he did that, I would know it very well. So I'm sorry about that, but
awesome guys.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun. We weren't sure what to expect, and
you and I are the same in a lot of ways. One way being that we're ready to call out a weirdo on spot.
Like CT, I lost to a lot of weirdos before.
Yeah, man,
yeah.
and I will.
I would do that again.
Yeah.
No
weirdos there.
Well, and also it did help that we absolutely destroyed,
which we didn't expect.
Did not.
So what you have to understand is that we've just claimed to be fans on this podcast.
Not experts.
Well, now we're champs.
Yeah, you guys were supposed to be the team that just sucked.
So before you want to pin us for not knowing anything that we
can back it up.
Yeah, go back and go watch the tape.
So
it's out there now.
Speaking of, it's on their Twitch stream, but Twitch is not a great on-demand platform. It's great for live streaming, but so they were cool enough. They sent us the files. I actually edited it together. Put it up on our Patreon for all of our patrons to watch if they missed it, and I know some people have already gone back and watched it, so that's up on our Patreon. Just another reason, join patreon.com/SmashingHits and guess what? It's just a YouTube link then, so you know how to use YouTube, even if you don't use Twitch. And I did make Hannah watch it, though.
Yeah, I watched it.
I mean, she was on her phone a lot, but she did watch it.
I watched it.
What did you think?
Some of those questions I wouldn't even have a guess.
Could you believe that Trishelle answer? I
know. That was the thing. That was the question I was referencing.
Yeah, that was a good pull. We had some deep, Jake pulled a question out of the depths of his soul somehow, and
it seemed almost like it was on accident.
It was you weren't sure about it, but you just need to go back. It's about an hour long. You can go back and watch it. It's a lot of fun.
You got an hour to spare.
Yeah, you got an hour to spare. If you're listening to us, you got an hour to spare. So again, that's on Patreon, so you can check that out. And then again, we do a lot of other stuff. We have another video and audio version of a podcast we did with one of our patrons coming this weekend at some point. The reason that we are going to Grizzlies game tomorrow is because Hannah and I always go for our anniversary
every year, and
it is our 5th anniversary on Friday, and this was the closest game to when our anniversary was. So
it's just the day before.
That's what we're doing, and
specifics.
Yeah. And so we're doing that, and we didn't think we were going to get to do it this year, and then the Grizzlies opened at 20% capacity, so got to wear masks the whole time, and it's going to be a little strange, not having anyone around you, because that's some of the funnest times is being at Grizzlies games and getting to know the random people in your section and all that. But
did y'all mention the part where I'm coming too?
I don't remember. Yeah,
Probably
Jake's
not.
coming.
Well,
his lady friend's coming too.
Yes, that's what I'm more excited about her coming.
Are we going to set me and Zach in the middle, or you and her in the middle?
She and I are in the middle.
I'll put them on the outside.
Yeah.
Hey, you know what? I got the tickets. I'll decide who sits where.
Yeah, we paid for them.
Yeah. You guys wouldn't even know how to get there if it wasn't for us.
Yeah.
It is my anniversary.
Well, me too.
No, it's mine, and we're going to do what I want. And
debatable.
She and I are going to sit in the middle.
No. And a lot of people...
I'm not having Jake 3-4 people away because we're the ones that want to talk about what's going on in the game.
Yeah.
If anything, you guys, you can sit. How would we do this?
Exactly.
It'll be her. I don't want to say her name in case Jake doesn't want me to.
Well, you can say her name. Not your full name.
Whoa, what?
Whoa, not her full name. We don't even say our full name on here.
Yeah, cool.
Okay, so we'll do
Wendy Peppercorn.
Yeah, that's the one.
And then Jake.
Yeah.
And then me, and then you.
I am not sitting on the outside.
But you have all this room because there's no one around you.
You do.
No, I'm sitting on the inside no matter what.
Well, then it'll be me, Jake. No, sorry. Me, Jake, and then Wendy, and then Hannah on the other end.
So Jake doesn't get to sit by her, and you don't get to sit by me.
Yeah,
I'm
sitting by her.
Yeah.
No,
he just said Zach.
No,
Jake,
he said
Emily.
He said Jake.
There it is.
Me,
I said it.
Her.
No, I didn't.
Mm-mm.
He did. Her name's Emily.
So yeah, we're doing that. So we weren't expecting to be able to do it, but that's why the other podcast is going to be sometime later this weekend. I'm just not sure when yet.
Happy anniversary, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Come on now. This is 8 years going.
It is not 8 years.
No.
It's 5 years.
Oh, that's a half
a decade.
It is a half decade. Yeah. We made it. We'll see what happens next. Let's get into I plugged Patreon, I haven't plugged a merch shop. SmashHitsPodcast.com/store. I think I don't ever plug it anymore. And then also something that someone brought up in our Patreon Slack group that they said we haven't done. They say we haven't plugged our P.O. box in a long time.
People like to send us stuff, and I love it. It's like surprise Christmas.
Well, it actually, I do in a way plug it every week. It is in the show notes on iTunes or Spotify or wherever you listen to app. It's in the show notes every single week. And, but it is, Smashing This Podcast, P.O. Box, 3141, Jackson, Tennessee, 38303.
I hope you gave the right one.
Check the show notes. It is the right one. I know it better than either of you two know it.
Yeah, but you
I
were...
never claimed to know it.
No, exactly.
Well, then why are you getting third degree about this?
You're just calling it off the top of your head, and you do not sound certain.
Why
I don't want you
giving.
giving. I don't want you giving somebody else's box number out to the internet.
Oh yeah, because someone's gonna send like a firebomb or something. I mean, what are you talking
I'm
about?
just saying if somebody's trying to send us something specific, and you're giving the wrong number, and it's going to somebody that lives 3 streets away.
Speaking of,
do you know how
and then
P.O.
we
Box
would never
works?
get it.
They are at the same place. It doesn't go to their house afterwards.
I know that's not what I meant. Who owns the box? It's
Why
not,
does it matter if they're 3 streets away?
also,
just an example.
you act like this person is going to see this and be like, "Oh no!"
You also act like someone's going to be like, you know what? I'm only going to go off of what he said this one time. Not going to even reference anything else.
Hey, but real quick while we're on this, who sent me a monkey wrench?
Well, it wasn't a monkey wrench.
A monkey rain.
Well, yeah, we did get a surprising thing in the mail. Someone put a plastic wrench in an envelope.
I remember you showing me this.
It was like 3 days ago, so I hope so.
It feels like it was weeks ago.
And there's no return address. There's no note. There's no name. There's literally nothing. It was someone took a black plastic wrench, put it in an envelope, put stamps on it. It got completely mangled through USPS's sorting and ripped the envelope wide open. They put it in another envelope saying, "We care." That got ripped wide open. They put it in an even bigger envelope that said, "We care." And miraculously, it did make it to us. And it just said, Jake Ingle, care of Smashing This Podcast, and then our P.O. box. And it's just a mystery at this point.
2 questions. 1, do you think it's been used? 2,
it's not.
2, how often do you...
Why does that matter?
How often do you check the P.O. box? Like, how long do you think it sat there before you
I check it a few times a week.
Really?
I mail stuff all the time. I don't think you know how P.O. boxes work. Also, why would it matter
I've
if...
never had one.
Why we've had one for about 6 months now. Why would it matter if it's used? Why did you say that like it was like it's trying to be for the kids, but not like you like?
No, I meant like, do you think it's been used? Like, do you think it's like been dirtied or something? Like COVID.
What? It's not like a condom that you're like, you think it's been used before?
You can't use that word.
That's how you prevent kids.
You better hope I don't say horny on this podcast.
It's just like, I don't know like why it would matter if it's been used.
I'm just
It's
thinking
not
about
like
germs.
something that deteriorates.
Well, there's probably germs on the package itself.
Yeah,
if
for
we're
sure.
using that logic.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, that's why I wash my hands after I touch the mail.
Well, before we get into it, real quick shout out. I don't know if you saw this in our Twitter DMs. Shelby.
I saw the email, because we get an email every time someone DMs us, but I haven't read the full thing, but I did read part of it.
So she, just a quick shout out to her. She said, "I just wanted to let you guys know I totaled my dream car today."
Which is not, it's not what she, like, she wasn't like, hey, just wanted to let you guys know that.
I totaled my dream car.
And that was the end.
But she said the only thing that made her laugh was our fantasy section on last week's episode. She said, "Thank you for that. I love the podcast."
I hope we're not the reason you crashed your car.
Oh man, what if she was listening to it and she was laughing or crying? And
well,
then
she did
it made
send
her
the
wreck?
crying laughing emoji.
Did she send a picture of what it was?
No.
I
What
kind of
hope
car
you're
was
okay.
it?
No,
I mean,
that was the first thing I said back was, "We're super sorry to hear that, but we're glad you're okay."
Message
Assuming
again and
she's
ask what
okay,
kind of
if
car it
she's-
was.
what if she's like, I'm not okay?
Yeah.
I just wanted to message you.
Yeah. I'm assuming since she sent the DM that she's okay.
Yeah, I would assume so.
But
so,
there's a possibility
If
that
not,
she,
get your
that
priorities
she's sending
together.
it from like a hospital bed.
So I just thank you. Well,
Thank you for doing this.
Thank you for totaling your car.
Thank you for showing the love. We appreciate it. We appreciate stuff like this all the time. We're always here
I think
to
this
provide
is
a good
the
laugh.
first for us.
Car wreck? Yes.
I just hope we didn't cause the wreck, even though you could say we are wrecks ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
This show is a train wreck.
Double whammy.
Maybe.
Double jeopardy.
No.
That was my wrestling name.
So yeah, again, we hope you're okay. Sorry that it was your dream car.
Tell us what kind of car it was.
Yeah, just send it to us. Jake messaged you back.
Send
already.
us pictures.
Sure. Do you want to get into this episode?
Yeah, man, it's been like 18 minutes.
It's been 15 minutes.
God.
Why are you doing this? I'm going to move
Thump
you
you
out
on
of
the
the room.
toe.
Yes. She literally was taking her foot and putting it on top of my foot and just tapping. Like, just because she wanted to. And then she's like, you guys are so mean to me. Well, I don't do anything.
And then we get berated on Twitter about it.
Yeah, exactly.
We get ratings on iTunes about it.
Yeah.
About how we're so mean to her.
Yeah.
And she put up a tweet a couple of weeks ago, shout out to Kelsi, about how you hate these people and they're annoying.
I had gone into a store.
We don't have time. We got to get into
I went into a store and nobody was wearing a mask, and this guy that wasn't wearing a mask, I hit my mic really hard and now my finger hurts.
And it's going to be our fault.
Okay.
Yeah, we did it.
So there were
we don't
several...
have time.
No, I have to get it out.
You gotta move, girl. Let's go.
I was literally trying to transition in.
There were people running around without a mask, and I was like, this is so stupid. And one guy almost ran straight into me. He was like 6'5" and super old, and he pulled out a cigar and lit it inside a store. And there were cops there, and they didn't go to stop him. And I was like, I was surrounded by dumb people, but I had fun on my weekend away out of town. But that I was referencing the guy that literally was lit and smoked a cigar inside of a store.
Was it a cigar store?
No.
That makes sense.
It was
Yeah.
It was a knife store.
Well, it's like when you walk into the ice cream store, you want to test that out.
Stop hitting your mic.
I don't know where my hands are going.
She's lost control. Let's
go, Zach.
get
Get us
into tonight's episode.
No daily.
You're taking a cue from Hannah. Just
Yeah,
running ahead of my notes.
No, but this is a weird one.
It is. So it actually left off in a way that will get us back on track next week. We will have a daily drama-y stuff and then an elimination, I would assume. We always have
One cliffhanger.
at least. I'm just glad it's not like Final Reckoning where it was like there was cliffhangers like every other episode, it seemed.
Yeah, that was super annoying.
So yeah, we start off with a security breach, and honestly, I forgot we were at the beginning of an elimination because I kind of wiped out what I've had a lot of things in my mind for work this week, and so
I forgot we even had a security breach.
I thought you were gonna say I forgot we even had a podcast, and we had the security breach. We thought initially that meant
Somebody was coming back.
like maybe Ashley again.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not the case. And either that or is it going to be like Amber M, which would have sucked for Nam. It's a good move from production's point that they didn't bring another person back, because then Nam goes home later this episode, and then you would have had someone else here that you're like, oh no, now they don't have a partner.
Yeah.
So the security breach comes in, and TJ's like, hey, just kidding, guys. It's a double elimination. And I think that was like a pivot, like a last minute thing, because Lola went home. Oh, I mean, because what?
Because Nam's back was still bothering him.
What does that have to do with the elimination?
Yeah, nothing had been determined then.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's all I could think about.
No. It's
all hands going to speak on tonight is Nam.
Well, it's because Lola went home, and now you have two guys.
Left Nam.
You have two guys without partners, so you need to get rid of two guys so that you can be paired up again like normal and go forward. And so it's a double elimination, and
Gavin and Debbie got the most votes, so they were the ones that were voted in to go in.
yes, but he's like, oh, just kidding. The second most votes have to go in as well too. Now Hannah almost knocked over Jake's mic, and
disaster tonight.
So it basically Darrell and Amber were the next pick, and they tell CT that you guys get to determine both matchups, who they go against. and which is
Darrell and Amber were not the next ones voted. Josh and Nani were.
That's what I meant. Darrell and them came in a minute. Yeah, Josh and
because Nani was mad.
Yeah. Which
Nani's always mad.
Nani's always mad, but also Josh was mad.
Nah, he's always mad.
But they were so mad that they did get thrown in last.
This is the cycle with them. They're mad they didn't get thrown in, and then they're mad that they're thrown in, and then they're mad they didn't get thrown in. It's just like they don't know. Listen,
they don't know their head from a hole in the wall. That's not a saying.
Nobody knows. Neither of them two know. They are. You ever run into those people who just...
You just started 4 different
sentences. I don't know where you're going.
And you can't get to where you want.
You ever met those people who don't know what they want from one day to the next, and on top of that, don't know who they are one day to the next? That is them. It's no wonder they're so infatuated with each other because they're looking in a mirror.
Yeah. It is like...
It's madness.
When he goes away and Nani like loses it, and we'll get to all
the whole house just about is just like... Act like he's died.
Yeah, that's what I said. I was like, she's talking like he died.
One of the weirdest things.
Yeah, it's strange. But anyway, I did misspeak. Josh and Nani were the next vote because we thought they were going to go in maybe instead of Devin.
Yeah.
And so then CT just like, hey, Devin, who do you want? Because they're aligned. And he's like, who do you want? And so he picks Jarrell. And I get 100% why he picked Jarrell. Because like he's close with Kyle. Fessy has got a lot of length on him. Darrell is older. He's like 40 or 41 or something like that. Like, you know, he's won a lot of these, but it's been a while, and also he hasn't proven that he's could win anything this season yet.
You know, looking at, I mean, these guys saw what this challenge was, right?
Mm-hmm. He can't pick Josh.
Right.
Yeah. He can't pick Nom or Corey either.
Yeah. So you're
so who's left?
Fessy, Kyle, and
Leroy.
Darrell and Leroy. And out of those, I probably would pick Darrell.
I don't know, man. But if they knew there was a puzzle involved, I don't know, man. That's the one to go after Leroy or Fessy, in my opinion.
I do think that. Yeah, but I mean, Darrell's not good at puzzles.
But I don't even remember, though.
Called him a tangerine puzzle.
Long. Yeah, he said him and his kid do tangerine puzzles all the time. Yeah,
so I mean, and that's smart. And CT said kind of the same thing. And I know Anissa does those. And like any of these that have been around, this is a staple of the challenge. Is those
tangerine puzzles?
Tangerine puzzles.
I think this was a bad move by Devin.
I don't
think it's an underrated bad move.
I don't think it's a bad move. I get his reasoning of why he did it. I think no matter who he went up against, obviously the odds are stacked against him. And to his credit, he was right there with him. He could have won. He just couldn't figure out the puzzle.
But it was so against what he's done this whole season, which is just try to cause chaos. Taking out Darrell wouldn't have caused any stir.
No, right. But
at this point, he was just trying to save his own butt.
Yeah, I think he was trying to get back in the house.
To me, that logic doesn't work by picking Darrell.
But who would you would pick Leroy
or Fessy?
I mean,
if you know there's a puzzle involved and there's no
physical... Did they know there was a puzzle at this point?
But even so, there's no physical aspect of this to where you got to clash, right?
There's an athletic thing to which we saw the difference between Josh and CT.
Sure, but
Fessy and Leroy are taller than Darrell.
But there's also coordination to it, too.
There's coordination.
Right? Because Josh's length didn't matter. Of course, I don't know that Josh's anything matters in this game.
No.
So, I don't know. I think it was an underrated bad move, and I also think he should have stuck with what his plan has been this whole season, which is to, stir up some chaos and break up that alliance even more.
I think I get what you're saying, and I think to me they all were like a hand grenade, and you just hope that you can make it out alive.
Well, he was upset that Darrell was the swing vote, and because he was the one that was voted in, that meant that Darrell voted for him, and so part of it could have just been like, you know what, out of spite, I'm going to pick you because if I win, then you go home.
It would have been a more sneaky move to go after someone that already had a gold skull and make them sweat because Darrell doesn't have anything to lose. Darrell's like, I got to go in, I got to get a skull because he might have been blocked out from ever getting into an elimination. And so I do agree that's not the best thinking as far as what Devin is concerned, but I get why he went with him. I mean, it is what it is. Kyle's obviously out. It's going to be your picking Fessy or Leroy at that point, and they're both bigger than him. So I don't know. Darrell, you picked him number one, Jake. We thought he was going to have a huge season. He really hasn't to this point.
But glad to get some points out of him tonight.
Yeah. So he he goes up against, and like we said, like it was close. It's the same elimination Cam and Ashley did, but they made the polls a little further away, a little higher, and then he had to grab puzzle pieces and then get down, collect the puzzle pieces, and then solve the puzzle. And I mean, Darrell won. I mean, Devin was right there with him, but I mean, in the interview afterwards, Devin's like, I could have had 10 more minutes and I wouldn't have solved it. He's like, I just wasn't there, like mentally. And complete opposite. We didn't even get a goodbye speech from Josh, but
we didn't.
Well, I mean, it's just going to be him crying and yelling about something, and about how he's blindsided to go. I don't know, but like Devin's like, man, I talked a lot of crap and I didn't back it up, and I wouldn't have won no matter if I had more time. The better man won tonight, and I was like,
he called it a classic Devin. Yeah,
again, that's why we like Devin. Like
he's self-aware.
Well, it's not even that. Like he can own up to it when he screws up.
Yeah.
I mean, he had some incredible like lines during this whole elimination.
Yeah.
You know, Leroy's shouting "Who wants it more?" and Devin's like, "I think we both want it, Leroy."
And then Leroy's like, yeah.
And then he,
you know who that reminds me of? That reminds me of someone who we used to be friends with, who now is married to a lunatic. And he would just talk all the time. And we would not know why. He would just feel the need to insert something in there.
To fill the silence.
And like, hey, guys, who wants it more? I'm like, yeah.
We both want it.
Yeah. And it's $1 million. And
then he hits Josh with the whole, hey, we got more in common than we thought.
Yeah. Even Nani almost laughed at that, and then she like pulled it together. But yeah, so basically, Darrell wins first round. CT goes in, and
Nom wants CT to come back 100%.
Nom's friends with him.
Of course, you
would pull Nom out of this.
That one line out of everything that was said. Be right back. Quick snack. We got more in common than we thought.
I've been sent home by a bunch of weirdos.
You want to pull out that Nom said, "I want CT to come back."
I had all of Devin's quotes too. You just already said them.
Yeah. So CT's like, I'm not taking this for granted because I've been beaten by a bunch of weirdos, which probably would be the episode title.
Except Be Right
Back.
It's
so
quick
long.
Snack.
It's just long. Yeah, we're trying to keep 4 or 5 words at most.
I think that's a good one. You want to go ahead and call it?
Okay. And so CT does that. And then they get going.
Also, real quick, last thing on Devin. I said this while we were watching it. Fessy's stupid karma comment.
Again, it's...
Look, Fessy's really good. Comments like that are really annoying. Because you can apply the karma thing to anyone at any point in time.
At any point where something
Fessy.
goes against someone.
So, I just thought it was so dumb. And it was annoying.
Like, if anything, that's something, a line that you would say about Fessy after he pulled the whole thing with Nelson.
Well, I mean,
Corey.
again, it's easy. You go back, Jake, you could literally apply it to 90% of the situations in the season.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, it needs to fell off the rope. That's karma. It'll get you. And it's just like, it's just a cliche at this point. It's a game. There's going to be ups and downs for everyone. So, CT goes in. He at least kind of gets his momentum a little better than Josh. He also smartly throws all of his pieces into the same exact spot because Devin and Darrell, they were just dropping them as soon as they grabbed them. And I was like, very underrated vet move to drop them all in the middle as you're swinging back, and so you don't have to run around wasting time collecting them. And he's going, and I was like, I don't think Josh is even going to get down. I was like, no. CT's going to get this. And then he did. Like, not even close.
And we weren't even surprised about it.
No.
CT finished that puzzle in seconds.
Yeah. He, like, slammed the last piece in because it didn't quite fit. But where's it at? Greg in our Slack group brought up, Josh no longer has the same elimination record as Preston, also Knight, and Derek C. All very not good at the challenge. He is now tied with Jessica McCain at 1-4. One more loss will match him up with Jasmine's 1-5 record. I think the only person that has a worse record with like at least 4 would be Danny, right? We've talked about Danny. Danny's notoriously awful.
Yeah.
And now Josh's record is going to have a blemish of hope on a 1 elimination win against Michi. And
and then he's making comments about, you will see me in a challenge final one day, and we all just
winning the challenge final.
Yeah,
no way.
We all were just like, no, it's never gonna happen.
No, it will. There's going to be someone else who says a lot of things like that later on in this episode that it's never going to happen for, and
a lot of real just ignorant statements made tonight.
Josh will probably be back just because, like you said,
watchability because
people love to root against him, and. not even in like a villain role, because he sees himself as a hero.
Mm-hmm.
He sees himself as the hero.
Yeah, he's
the one and only.
He's like the friend zone of TV people. Like, none of us want to like date him, but he's just like someone that makes good TV once in a while. It's like, you keep him around. Maybe he'll do something nice for me. Yeah, so CT destroyed it. Josh, like I said, couldn't even get off thing. They edited it to make it look like he had 6 pieces when CT was at 7, and I don't even know if it was that close. Like, we couldn't tell because they weren't showing them side by side. And then we get a little confessional with CT, and he's like, I won, and $1 million is on the line, but I kind of don't want to leave Big T because we've come so far, blah blah blah. And then Jake and I the whole time, like he's even before the elimination started, we're like, he's getting Josh, he's gonna win, and you're leaving Big T. It is what it is. There's nothing around it, and he just is sitting there, and he's a little concerned about what's going on. And you know what? That is a good time for a break. And we are back, and back from break, just like CT came back from break, and we were left with a little cliffhanger as far as what he was going to do. But in Jake and I's mind, there was no decision. It is what it is. $1 million is on the line. You're not staying with Big T.
Yeah, and you and I, we had this back and forth with Han last week, right? Han, you were extremely convinced that he was going to stay with Big T. And we're sitting over here. So one conversation we've had off mic for the last 2 or 3 weeks now.
Okay.
I
don't know where you're going with this.
Is the butthole conversation.
We can't get into that, but sure.
Well, the scenario is in a totally non-sexual way.
Non-sexual, non-moral implications.
Yes.
Purely hygiene related.
Yeah. Would you lick such and such's butthole for $1 million? And Zach, you and I have made the argument that, look, it's $1 million.
At a certain money threshold, if you're taking, morality, if you're taking, what's the other one? If you're like just cleanliness to an extent, if you're taking all that out of the window, and
grime, grime,
it's not anything remotely sexual.
No.
You're just like, it's the equivalent of like if you had to lick someone's hand.
I mean, look, some people are into butthole stuff, and that's fine. That's not what we're talking about here. But the same logic applies here.
Once you hit a certain money threshold,
it's $1 million.
Nope.
It's $1 million. So
nothing could make me
line up the buttholes. I'm licking them for $1 million. CT's getting Cam back. It's $1 million.
He didn't even... okay, so there's going to be a lot of people... I haven't been on Twitter, Instagram, whatever. I already know people are going to want to run CT out of town.
Yeah, you're wrong. Can I just say it? Like, you're wrong. You're wrong. Look, we've said on here, Big T's a sweetheart. Like, you can't falter for her character and her general kindness. She's on the wrong show.
Yes.
And it's not even up for discussion.
No.
It's just not. CT, one of the greats of all time.
Yeah.
Top 3, I would say, easily.
Mm-hmm.
Flat out told her tonight, you're not ready to run a final.
Yeah.
And I don't even think that his reaction to stealing Cam was wrong. I know you guys are a little different with me on that.
I don't think it's necessarily right or wrong. I do think it did end up hurting her feelings.
Yeah,
yes.
Yeah, but what doesn't hurt her feelings?
Well, and here's the thing. This is not a show about how your feelings are. This is a show about competing, doing whatever it takes to win $1 million. If you are going forward in this, he's got a gold skull now. His current partner does not. She also is the biggest non-threat on the show. That you've got to change, and you have a shot to get with the person who you've watched manhandle everyone that she's gone up against.
No one's sending her into elimination. No,
and also she has a skull, so she's not going to send herself in for anything, and so she's not going to be like, you know what, I don't want to be with CT. I'm going to risk going home to change partners. It's not happening.
Yeah.
Like, you're picking Cam all day long, every single day. It is not even a discussion if you're going to stay with Big T.
It's not. It never was.
No.
There's $1 million on the line.
And you know what? I'm glad I got in our Slack group for a minute, and some people were like, I hated how he did it, but I understand. And then Kari got in there, and she is like, "It's $1 million." She's
yeah,
like, "I would."
Shout out to Kari.
She was
man.
like, "I would turn on my own husband for that much money."
Oh my God.
She's like,
I bet she'd lick buttholes for $1 million.
Probably. But she was like, "I've got kids at home. CT's got kids. Like, it's beyond how good of a friend you were, whatever." And the big thing with Big T, I'm just getting off notes a little bit.
Here we go. Let's
the big
talk
thing
You're
about
about to
Zach.
drop your phone
Oh,
because you laid it on top of that pen.
It's fine. The big thing with Big T is that she's like, CT came in and he was playing me this whole time, and he was acting like we're best.
No.
That's what she said.
I know she said
Okay.
it, and that's not true.
I know.
He was not playing
I was like,
her.
he put on the best face that you could do when hey, I have no choice but to compete with this person. From here, let's make the best of it.
Yeah, you might as well try to be as happy and as positive as you can if you don't have a choice in
Exactly.
it. Because it would only be to your detriment if you show your true feelings. Like, I can't believe I'm partnered with you. That's not going to make her
This
want
isn't
to do
a
her
Zach
best.
and Amanda partnership.
But I don't think he was even fighting that, though, either. Like, I don't think he was internally, like, having to fight back, like, complaining about being Big T's partner. I think he had accepted it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm
He
saying?
doesn't have a choice. Like, it's inevitable. Like, you have to do this. And so he's like, all right, let's make the best of it.
Yeah.
And, like, I think that's where this whole thing spins into a whole direction that it gets out of hand. And
The thing that bothered me was I don't think he's wrong in choosing Cam. And even when CT and Big T talk about this later on, she's like, I knew that you were going to do this. That's not what I'm upset about. It's the way you did it. And that's what I agree with. I think jumping out and screaming the way that he did in selecting Cam was a very butthole move to bring it back full circle.
I feel like you're in the middle somewhere.
I'm between
and
you two.
I am very much on the opposite end of you.
So
man.
Jake's gonna be the villain in this. You're gonna be
the angel that I always
the
am.
Stan villain.
But so here's my argument is like everything has context, right?
Yes.
He just got his gold skull.
Well,
and he knew what he was going to do, and it is exciting.
Not even just that. He's spent, the last 8 weeks thinking there's no way I'm going to ever get a chance to go down there because, 1, no one's going to want to go up against me. 2, we're never going to win anything. And then miraculously, everything aligned, and they got a daily.
Until that daily last week, he was convinced he had been blocked out.
Yes.
He was not going to get a shot at
he's
it.
not Lola. He's not going to quit, but
nobody wanted him to have a gold skull.
Exactly.
And so this is pure excitement. In no way, shape, or form was that excitement directed toward like a middle finger to Big T.
You know what it reminds me of?
But that's how it came across.
But that's a Big T problem.
Do you know what
that's a rest of the house problem to me.
Do you know what it reminds me of?
Yeah.
A few years ago in the NFL, it was the playoffs. It may have been like the NFC Championship or something. It was.
I think I know what you're going with.
It was when Richard Sherman,
Michael Crabtree,
and Michael Crabtree were going at it, and Richard Sherman was playing the biggest game of his career at that point. He came in, had a huge play down at the end of the game. I think he broke up a touchdown at the very end of it. And they interview him, and he's 20 whatever years old, biggest game of his career. Never been in the Super Bowl at this point, and he's amped up. And they're interviewing him. He was loud. And he was emotional, but he was not disrespectful. He never cussed. He never did anything. And I remember getting on Facebook after that, and people were like, who does this guy think he is? I can't believe blah, blah, blah. And I was like, this guy just made like the biggest like thing of his career. And I was like, you caught him like literal moments after it happened, and he's just amped up. And also I was like, he didn't do anything disrespectful. And I was like, CT just spent however many weeks thinking there's no chance I'm going to have even a shot at $1 million.
Okay, well, the analogy that you used, you keep saying he wasn't disrespectful. He wasn't disrespectful. I think CT's outburst was a bit disrespectful because he was screaming, F you, Kyle, F you, F you, F you. And I get it. I kind of thought that was funny, but also the extent that he went to. It's one thing to scream out, Cam, I've been thinking about you every day since I rejected you, because he did say that. I think if he'd left it at that, or maybe a couple other words, it would have been fine. Like, it was just heat of the moment, super excited. But he went on and on and on and on, enough that it made me very uncomfortable to watch.
You're gonna flip me to Jake's side.
And all I could think about was, if I were in Big T's spot right there, I would feel horrible.
Yeah, you shouldn't be on
myself.
that show. She should not be on this show.
I understand that, but the fact that she is on that show, you can't change that. She's there, but the reaction was uncalled for. It went too far.
But there's no, like... We can't... So what, now we put a cap on how excited someone can get for getting
and like,
skull?
you gotta take in everyone's feelings.
Because now we have to be considerate
he
of...
He can be as excited as he wants to. He went too far with what he said and how he did it. He approached it the wrong way.
No other girl reacts that way in that situation.
That's left on the show. Yeah, Nani might, but that's a whole nother scenario.
Nani would have been more like,
she would have been
all
mad.
Right, F you, man.
Yeah, she would.
Like, but it's not like,
she would want to punch him.
My feelings are hurt.
I do agree with that, and also I think it's a little
honestly, like someone like I think Cam borderline laughs about it. Now she's going to take offense to it in the sense of like, all right, I'm going to show this guy then. Like, now he's not going to do that to a Cam.
You need a certain personality on this show. I will say it's a little ironic that you're siding with that side because you like Big T and she's a sweet person. But when Josh and whoever else have been destroying, I mean, when Devin has been absolutely running Josh through the ringer
disrespect.
And doing everything possible to disrespect and break him down for weeks.
Yeah, but look at who Josh is.
Josh is an emotional train wreck.
Exactly. Big T's not an emotional train wreck.
But she's a big baby.
But I don't think she's a big baby. But also, there's been several instances, especially like last week, where Big T was trying to talk sense into other people. Like, this is just the game. This is how it is. Josh is totally different. He thinks he is top-ranking dog on same level as Wes, Johnny Bananas, CT. Keeps saying he's got a rivalry with all these guys and he's going to take them all out. Josh lives in a fairyland.
Josh should be on this show, though.
Yes, he should.
I agree with that. He's good watchability. I'm not saying whether or not Big T should be on the show. I'm saying you cannot change the fact that she's on this show in this exact moment in history. It was just CT crossed the line.
But you also don't get to change the name of the game to be considerate of such and such's feelings.
Because we knew all going into this, partners are going to get switched. People are going to screw each other over.
Yeah, there's no problem. I do not have the first problem with CT choosing Cam. It is the way he did it. It's the way he did it.
We're chastising this man for celebrating. That's what we're chastising him for.
Again, I said...
But that's what it was celebrate. Everything he did was pure celebration.
It was a lot of adrenaline. Like, I've been dealing with Kyle lying to me for weeks, and everyone saying I'm not going to get a chance.
And you look, people may like chalk even this up as disrespect towards Big T, but like, he didn't even like acknowledge her in that moment. It was pure, I'm getting Cam, I've got my gold skull, it's game over for you guys.
He didn't say, oh, she sucks so much, I gotta get... It's just, you're so elated to be even in that position. And I get what you're saying. It's the way he did it. At the same time, this has been a show about...
We have seen
inception.
Such dirtier...
Exactly.
Filthier, disrespectful. This was not... It's
just Big T is such a nice person.
Yeah,
that's what made
it is.
it so bad. Like, if it were someone who had... If this were Cam and Kyle, and Cam's running around screaming, give me Fessy, give me CT.
But Kyle can handle it.
Kyle can handle it. But also, Kyle, he's kind of sneaky, too. He'll backstab you.
He lies to everyone. Everyone knows that.
He lies to your face and then lies behind your back. Big T's just... She's not like that.
So let's all agree to blame casting.
Yeah, I'm fine with that. I'm fine with blaming casting. But you just... It touched me as being a really big butt face move.
So you're being empathetic to her and her situation, and I get that 100%. I'm trying to remove myself outside of Big T's feelings just to look at it as a game move and all that. and it is 100%. Even if
I'm not
I
arguing
know.
choosing Cam, but that's what you keep
No, I'm
circling
not.
back to.
No,
You're
I'm
like,
not.
it's the right move.
My
It's
gosh.
the right move.
No, I'm not. I'm just saying regardless of how nice of a person she is, I have no problem with what he did. And honestly, leaning more towards Jake's point, because of when it wasn't something he like said on for like 2 days and then made his decision. Like it is immediately after taking out the guy that he probably hates the most in the house. And I think we're just running in circles at this point. Big T's a nice person. We all know that. It's just like she in the moment, and I get she was hurt. She's like, "Oh, I'm going to get him back for the rest of my time on this show."
Like, disregard that because she's not.
And then as we later see for her to just be like, I'm not even friends with him anymore. It's over the top, and it's too much.
You can't have that type of sensitivity and personality and make it far
because
on the shows.
We don't know CT, so maybe this is a stupid thing to say, but I would put a good bet on the fact that I believe that even he would say like, no, that reaction wasn't personal to Big T. I was excited, and that's it.
And I think if he did really say it in a way to screw over Big T, like I don't think we would have saw his like attempt to reconcile, even though it didn't go wrong.
And that right there too further, I think, cements kind of his reaction and it being justified. The fact that like he did see that it upset Big T, and even when he didn't need to, he went out of his way.
CT 5 years ago, no chance.
Yeah, he went out of his way to reconcile that.
And you're like, who cares? I made the move I need to. Because at this point, he has no ties to Big T. And so Darrell he gets the next pick. He stays with Amber. I think we all kind of assumed that. Because the other ones, I mean, who else are you going to pick? Casey?
Well, Darrell has been piggybacking off of the Big Brother alliance through Amber. So, I mean, it wouldn't make any sense for him to choose anybody else.
Yeah, so, I mean, Casey's the only other option left. And so then Kyle, who now does not have a partner, gets the pick of Nany, Gabby, or Big T. He makes the right call. Picks Nany. Even though Nany's never won, it's the right call.
He had already been partnered with Nany before.
Yeah, and even as unstable as Nany can be, you've seen her compete. She's got a track record. Like, you know she can at least make a final. And also, you know that, like, Gabby and Big T, like, I don't know if they could handle a final. I'm not saying Nany 100% could, but out of the three, like, Nany's the choice. And then
if it's like a final that we've seen the last couple of seasons, I don't think any of the three could make it.
I don't know, but I just, again, out of the three, it's the right choice. And then Corey then gets the next pick. He picks Gabby. Think that's the right call. And then Nam is with Big T, which, great. If they're going to make, like, a buddy comedy, what a duo. Those are the two that you want to do that.
Personality-wise, they're a match made in heaven.
That's your Entertainment Tonight host right there.
Yeah. As a duo going forward, which it was very short-lived, obviously. Not going to be a threat. And then they get back to the house. Everyone's upset. Gabby is like, Devin went home, but I did kind of like him. I just didn't want to be partnered with him.
Yeah, she missed him already.
And she said something like, well, this is a completely different kettle of fish. And I really don't know what that means.
I think it's a British phrase.
Well, I would assume so since she's British and we don't know it. But I don't, like, in context, I have no idea what that means.
It really threw you for a whirl.
What is it? So a kettle, like...
Mm-hmm.
Kettle of corn is what I think.
A kettle of corn.
Except instead of the corn, it's fish.
All right, kettle cooked, like, potato chips, or, like... I just don't... A kettle of fish?
To me, it sounds like this is just a whole nother ball game.
I'm going to look it up.
Your phone's not on silent. Smarty pants. You get onto us all the time for that, and then you don't check yourself before you wreck yourself.
It's be a different kettle of fish, to be completely different from something or someone else that has been talked about.
There you go.
I'll start using that.
I would, no one's gonna know what you're talking about. That's fine.
Nobody knows what I'm talking about half the time anyway.
Then we get
Nany crying about Josh leaving.
This is the whole Josh funeral segment.
Yeah.
Like, with, like, 5 different people, like, surrounding her and consoling her.
Yeah, she's crying. Like, I can't believe he's not here. He was the perfect partner.
No, he wasn't.
Like,
no, he wasn't at all.
There's two separate instances where Nany cries about this, and I'm just going to bring them together because I don't want to talk about it twice. She is talking to somebody. I know at one point Casey cries too.
In a confessional, which would have been way later.
Yeah, which is weird.
It's
weird. It's
Big
weird.
Brother people are weird. Anyone
Yeah,
associated with Big Brother, they're all
put
weird.
that out there. They're weird.
So, like, okay, so I had a note. Nany is acting like Josh died when she's talking to Amber, and she says, quote, "I'll never have that connection with someone else."
Yeah, she's acting like she lost, like, a lover.
A husband. Like, her husband died. I'll never meet anybody else like him again. I'll never have that spark, that connection
Again, she lives in a pretty delusional plane
Listen
of
to these
existence,
two things
too.
she said, Han. One, she now doesn't know why she's here.
Yeah.
Yeah, Josh is the reason why you're here.
Two, so she started out with Kyle as her partner, right?
Yeah.
She said that when she got Josh, it's as if he brought her back to life.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
She's
remember her
listened to a
saying
lot of
that.
Evanescence.
What is happening? Is that not crazy?
I'm
Wait,
flabbergasted.
That is weird, man.
Yeah, it's I was like, anyone objectively looking, not so take your Big Brother fandom out of this, take whatever. If you are objectively looking at this game and you saw Kyle and you saw Josh, no one would say, you know what, give me Josh. I think I want Josh as my partner with $1 million on the line.
That's the thing here.
Yeah.
She says, I don't know why I'm here, and I'm sitting over here, $1 million, man.
Yeah.
That's why.
Yeah.
And you're gonna equate $1 million to Josh. Now look, human life is more important than $1 million. So let's, okay. But he ain't dead.
At what point would you kill a person?
I wouldn't. That's off the table. Buttholes, I'm all for.
Okay. So yeah, they it's such an overreaction. She upgraded partners. She got someone who
Is pretty good at the challenge.
yeah, like surprisingly good at the challenge, has won a lot of eliminations.
Has can pretty well get along with most people.
Yeah, and understands like his role, and also
Self-aware.
competes
Yeah.
pretty well.
It doesn't live in La La Land.
Yeah, well, I think you could argue Kyle lives in his own world where he thinks he can just lie to everyone and they won't catch on. But that's what pathological liars do. They think, "Oh, you're so dumb, you'll never catch me." And Kyle might be one of those.
He might be, but also Kyle's kind of dumb too.
Again, like in no way, shape, or form did she downgrade, and she's acting like she just was widowed and been like, "Oh, now you have
Giving
to
the crap off the street."
you gotta marry your worst enemy," and it's like it's not even. You're getting a chance to play for $1 million. Like it's such an overreaction.
And I don't know why she's so upset about it. I would love to be partners with Kyle.
Yeah, but you like Kyle. I mean, we like Kyle.
I love Kyle.
We also all don't like Josh, so her reasoning's really crazy. Then CT starts going in on Kyle. Basically, just does away with any sort of trying to make amends or keep some sort of like level-headedness. He's just like, no, screw you, you lied to me, I played you, whatever. And he's just like, he just was like, screw everything, I'm just going to burn all my bridges because now I've got the partner that I want. And we're probably 2 weeks out from the final, 3 weeks maybe.
You think?
And so again, no one's going to want to go against CT because they're all scared of him. And no one is going to want to go against Cam, so their skull should be safe. No one's going to take on that partnership. The only person that might would be somebody like Devin, and he's gone.
Yeah.
Or you might have someone crazy like Big T who's scorned and be like, I'm taking on Cam, and it's not going to go well. I did think it was funny. Well, I skipped one thing. Big T, this is when she said that she feels like she's been wronged with CT. And I think we all agree. Okay. He's making the best of the situation.
But jump ahead where she says, I knew you were going to
at the fire pit?
Switch to Cam.
Yeah.
Right. So where was she wronged? If she knew it was coming?
She was upset because she kept saying that he made a promise not to switch partners, but he never made that promise.
She said he lied, and he's like, I didn't lie, I broke a promise.
All right, so which is it?
Again, like, she's upset, and like, I get it. Like, it would suck if you know you are the worst person on the show and then you just got left for the best person on the show. But here's the thing. You should not be on this show for 3 seasons. We've already discussed this I don't know how many times.
And we're not blaming her for coming on the show.
No, if someone calls you and says, hey, you want to come live in another country for possibly 3 months and maybe win $1 million? Yeah, absolutely. All day long. So if you get that call, take it. Go for it. It should be on production at this point to know. Come on. And so it was funny that Cam in her like next confessional was like, I don't really know how I feel about being partnered with CT. Like he came out and he wasn't humble at all and blah. And I was like, that's really ironic coming from Cam because if anything, Cam is known to be very confident in herself and in her skills. And I know especially this season that has rubbed a lot of people the wrong way.
I've seen many people who are Cam supporters that have spoken out this season saying she's a little too confident in herself.
Lord, can you believe people say that?
I just think it is ironic though that she's like, oh, I don't want any of this any heat from my partner because he's not humble. And I was like,
people
okay.
getting a tizzy over just anything.
That's a whole kettle of some different fish. So
we're complaining about her being too confident.
Some people have been. They said she's been annoying, and I said like I get it. She has come across way more entitled this season.
In the same way that we are going to hammer on Big T for not realizing what kind of show she's on. Can I hammer on people for not realizing what kind of show they're watching?
Sure.
Can I do that?
Do you think some of it is like you're getting so many people coming in from these other fan, because let's put it in perspective. Like when everyone came from the Real World and Road Rules, like those are shows about people living together, possibly hating each other or fighting, getting on each other's nerves, telling them how awful they are, whatever. And then now you throw money into the mix. And I don't know, like we're pulling in people from like Love Island and
Kyle's from Geordie Shore.
Shailene was from The Bachelor Canada and went home day one.
Didn't she go like? She went home like day one on The Bachelor.
That's what I said. That's literally what I just said.
Oh, I thought you were saying she went home day one.
No, she made it on the challenge way further than she ever made it on the other show.
Didn't get her birthday celebration though.
Yeah. And
she doesn't have a birthday.
So like. I don't know, like, we don't watch Big Brother, we haven't watched Survivor, but I know, like, there's politics in those games, and there's people screwing each other over and being mean to each other, and so, I don't know why it's all of a sudden, people are like, oh, I can't believe how confident people are, and I was like,
God forbid,
you
know?
If you're good.
I mean, sometimes you have to be your own hype person if nobody else is going to do it.
I mean, to some degree, you'd be like, well, Polly's the person, and, some people might argue that with Josh, like, Josh is hyping himself up. I think Josh is just delusional.
Josh is delusional.
Pauly, I think, was hyping himself up.
Also, the Lions mentality.
Yeah, sure.
Maybe you have a lion on your arm because of the lion mentality.
Maybe that's what Josh needs. He needs the linesman. Maybe Pauly should mentor Josh.
All right, dude, I want Pauly back on this show.
I would.
Kara.
Aren't they friends?
Pauly and Josh.
I don't know.
Do you not remember?
Didn't they get into it?
Yeah, that's
like Josh thought that he and Pauly were working together, heading an alliance, and Pauly's like,
of course he
don't
did.
have anything.
Of course he thought that. Yeah,
and they got into it. Yeah. Josh got really upset about something, and Pauly's like, "Why are you thinking this?"
He probably thinks Smashing Heads is his biggest supporter.
As much as we really did not like watching the whole Pauly and Kara and Pauly, Kara, Kyle, whatever.
Dude, they bring such.
They
an
should
element,
be on
though.
the show.
They bring such an element.
Yeah.
They just do.
So anyway,
the fact that they create so much conversation.
Oh, they do. And also with a grain of salt, I did go watch some of their like Instagram stuff recently because I'm like, I haven't checked in on them in a while, and I was like, oh god, I forgot how awful this is to watch.
But
more from her end than Pauly's end, if I'm being honest.
I can't wait for them to be back.
I don't know if they will. I don't know.
That's a loss right there for MTV.
So Nom's back is hurting. We knew that was happening. He complained about it in that daily where they were digging up the pieces for the thing in the sand.
Yeah, and then he complained about it last week too.
Yeah, on the boat. And Jake and I have talked about it. We sympathize with him. When your back gives out, especially when it's like nerves and stuff, like there's nothing you can do about it. Like
it sucks.
Leroy talks to him later on. He's in Darrell. They're like, there's nothing that fixes it. It's literally just rest and taking it easy. And like I am just now getting to the point to where I feel normal, and I messed my back up in September.
Oh.
And so Nom's back's messed with him, but they have a day out, which is the first time we've had that this season. Is it the first time we've had this in a few seasons, like a day off, where they went and just did something fun? I don't remember any other ones recently. I don't remember it any
recently. They didn't do it on Total Madness.
Yeah, because they were in
that
bunker.
Yeah.
And so they get a day out. They go in this like big hot springs looking area. Everyone's just drinking and, hanging out. CT decides to send Big T champagne. And a lot of people are going to be like, oh, he's trying to buy her off, whatever. And I was like,
he's trying to. I didn't have a problem with this.
5 years ago, CT wouldn't have done this.
He's trying to knock on the door and see if she opens it. Yeah.
He's standing outside, knocking.
With alcohol.
And she takes it. Again, I think Anissa's upset, which we haven't talked about. Anissa's upset about the Big T thing. And I was like, because Anissa knows she's next in line.
Yeah, she's upset because she sees herself in that position.
She's already been in that position. Fessy did it to her, and then she's like, you know what, Fessy, you're coming right back.
Yeah.
And she knows that she would be one of those people. She would handle it much better than Big T did, I would say. She would just be like, screw you. I'll do whatever I want. And so he sends the champagne. Then we get like a sweet moment with Corey talking with Big T because they both don't have skulls and they're kind of on the outside looking in. And Corey's a nice guy. He's a dad. He's a girl dad.
He's a girl dad. He's worn a T-shirt on here that says "Girl Dad."
Everyone sees Big T as basically a little kid, and so
maybe that's why I'm so upset about it.
I think that's it. I really do, because like it is like she, compared to the rest of them, is like a child you need to protect, and
which is not the name of the game.
And no, it's not to protect a child. And
boy, what if that was the show we were watching?
Protect a child?
I don't think you could put children in danger and get away with it.
But they win $1 million.
Jake, did you know that there was a reality show in like the early 2000s where they just put a bunch of like 7 through 12-year-olds out in like a Wild West ghost town and made them like run it themselves? And there was so no adults.
They like killed their own chickens and
they
stuff.
Had to like, it was wild, man.
Is it? Can you find it anywhere?
There's clips of it on YouTube, and I've seen people walk through it on YouTube.
It's crazy.
And they have to like elect people in charge, and
to
like
be like a mayor.
It barely lasted one season, and they're like, we can never do this again. Like these kids are really messed up. And it was on like CBS or something like that. I wish I could find it. I don't even remember what it's called, but it was like, oh, we're 8. We have to go chop a chicken's head off, otherwise we're not going to eat tonight. And
it was like some of the little kids were like, I'm too scared to do it because I've been taking care of the chickens. And then this other kid's like, I'm fine, I'll do it.
Yeah, it is really funny because then there's like a 12-year-old who's like way bigger than everyone else. So we need to look into that maybe
that show
for a watch
is
through.
Freaking wild.
But anyway,
you want to take another break?
Well, I'm about to.
I was about to.
I was. You were just about to leave?
No, I was about to say, we'll be right.
Well, one quick thing before I had one more note before we get to, again, Corey being a sweetheart. And then Nani, was she talking to Gabby? I don't remember who she was talking to. This was, again, when they were acting like Josh died.
Amber
B.
Because she said she'll never have that connection with someone else.
What a lunatic. And she says, as soon as I can, I'm switching to Fessy from Kyle. And I was like, well, great plan.
She also said she would choose Josh over and over again out of anyone.
Anyone.
And that's just
like it's one thing. Which again, we talked. I don't even think you have an argument to say you could pick Josh over Kyle. It's one thing to say I would take Josh over the rest of the field that's out here.
And then, but her reasoning behind choosing Fessy was that she knew that's what Josh would want her to do.
Yeah, not that Fessy is the biggest like physical specimen out there.
I mean,
it's what Josh would want. I want to honor his last wishes.
Yeah, that didn't even make any sense.
He's dead. She wants to, it's in his will.
Name one time Nani has made sense on this show. One occasion.
I can't.
Just one.
I'm really trying to think.
I'm trying to.
While we're thinking about that, let's take a quick break. Has anybody figured out a time when Nani made sense yet? I know in real life that was only about 2 seconds because we don't actually go anywhere whenever we take breaks.
Yeah.
So did you figure out anything in that 2 seconds?
No.
I just can't. I can't think of a time where she said something or did something. I was like, oh no, I kind of get that.
It's more often than not, the memorable Nani moments are ones where you're like, huh, where'd you get that from? Or it's like, you got this guy in Cohutta who really likes you a lot. You know what?
Wants to treat you like a queen.
You know what? I'm going to screw this up with Johnny Riley.
Man, you know what? After everything I've been through, Cohutta's like a spirit animal to me.
He should be a spirit animal to most people.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's one of our favorite people that's ever been on the show. So
Nam is almost incapacitated by the back pain.
Yeah, I wrote he's just in bad shape. He's got to go to the hospital.
But he also doesn't want to quit and give up.
He's the opposite of Lolo.
Exactly. And then he said he feels very fragile, and I just.
Why are you making fun of him? He's English
I'm
as a
not
second
making
language.
fun.
Maybe even third language. I don't know.
Oh my goodness.
The English language is very stupid.
It is. It is.
Why is that a J sound there?
I don't know.
Jake, why?
But he said it.
Probably
and
some math involved or something.
It made me want to give him all the ibuprofen and ice packs, and
he's beyond that at this point.
You're telling me you wouldn't lick his butthole for $1 million? She's thinking about it. That's how obsessive this is, Han.
It was off the table before.
Where's that Michael Jordan gif?
Stop
it. Get some help.
Yeah.
They talk him into going to the hospital.
I already said he went to the hospital. He needed to. Like he's beyond. He didn't need to compete anymore. Like we'll get to it in a second. But anyway, CT is like having like a pretty candid like conversation directly to the camera outside, which is or the producer behind it, which we don't see a lot of. I appreciate it from like production.
I thought they weren't allowed to do that.
It's CT. You can kind of do whatever you want. Again, guys like that and Wes and Johnny and ones that have been around a long time.
Yeah, but also it's probably they let it slide because otherwise, how would you know what on earth he was doing?
Yeah, he was like, I'm gonna bring her out here. I got blankets and fire.
Instead of setting up a campfire with blankets and s'mores.
Listen, again,
Big T.
You can agree he didn't do whatever the right way. I think this shows that he really did have concerns about how she felt.
Yes. I liked that he was...
It didn't end well.
No, it didn't. But at this point, I was happy that he was going out of his way to try and make it up to her, make amends, help her feel a little better.
Yeah, and the thing is, like, he did do kind of the cliche, like, no, you don't let anyone break you or whatever. But, like, what do you want him to say? Like, yeah, you're not very good. And then she's like, don't tell me that or whatever. And then he did get straight with her, and he's like, you're not ready to run this final. And he just won, not last season, but the season before. Mm-hmm. He saw Paulie, who I think we all can agree is in much better shape than Big T. Literally couldn't move anymore.
All right, let's stop right there. Move on.
Oh, you don't want us to talk about that?
No.
I mean, she's not ready. Like, he wasn't coddling her. He was like, listen, like, this is what... And Big T knows she's not ready for this.
I think he was trying to do the opposite of coddling her because I think CT has seen a lot of other people in the house coddle her.
Again, it is almost like you're dealing with a child to some extent. Like, with how... Because she's not hardened like the rest of these people. Like, she is not...
And I don't think she needs to be.
I don't either, but she shouldn't be on the show. That's what we're saying.
I know. I agree with that.
In real life, she should be this way.
I worry because 99% of the people on this show are hardened.
Or they're lunatics. And she's not either one of those. And I worry if she continues to get on the show that it's going to mess with her. Can we name someone on this show who is not either... doesn't care what anyone thinks about him, is so overconfident that they just think it's all made up, or a straight up lunatic? Is there anyone who's just like, that's a good... Cohutta. Cohoda might be the one answer. Cohoda and Mike. Because he didn't stay long enough to get corrupted. He's like, I'm here to be fun.
No. Mike had something with Paula, didn't he?
Well, he hooked up with Paula, but that doesn't mean he's hardened or a lunatic.
He was corrupted.
Nah, he's just living his life. Good for you, Mike. Yeah. So Big T like really breaks down in this, and then it gets heated, and then they start talking over each other. And CT was very like, you're not going to assassinate my character on this, and
CT.
Yeah, that's what I said. Yeah. And they're going back and forth, and then it just blows up into.
He
a big
ends
thing.
up calling her Tula.
He calls her Tula a lot,
which is her name. Everybody else just calls her Big T. But when he said Tula, I knew he was serious.
He
about
called her
stuff.
Tula like 3 or 4 times.
I know,
But
this is when she called him a liar.
can you blame him for being annoyed? Because I'm sure he's got to be thinking the same thing that I've been saying. Right? Is that because none of that was ever directed towards her.
No.
What he did, and so he's got to be thinking like, why is this even a discussion right now?
I think any other person he was partnered with this season, he would not have this conversation.
1,000%. 1,000%.
And I think it's a little both ways. One, because I think he wouldn't care what they thought, and then 2, I think he cares so much about how Big T is feeling after he made that decision that he is trying to make amends to an extent. But I don't think if any other person he was partnered with, if he did the exact same reaction, I don't think he would have done this for anyone else. Again, he's a dad now, and like I feel like this is like, you know, when you're a dad. I mean, I'm not a dad, so we don't know that, but it's like when you feel like you've done wrong or made the wrong decision for your kids, and you like need to set it straight. And it's tough love. He's like, you're not ready for this final, and
I did hop on Twitter before we started recording, and I saw some people saying, you know, kind of upset with CT, saying that's not how you apologize and stuff like that. And I mean, again, it came down to it. Big T was saying she's okay with him choosing Cam because she knew it was coming. She just wasn't okay with the way he did it. And so he was trying to apologize. And he's like, I'm not apologizing for picking Cam.
yeah.
I'm apologizing for hurting you.
Well, and
So
when
what was the problem they had then?
Well, when she started talking about it, she was like, "You did this. You made me feel bad." And immediately he's like, "I'm sorry. I that's my fault." And then it like turned. The conversation turned.
Well, he
turned.
He told her
remember, honestly.
to let it all out of her chest, and I think what it was as she was saying things, he was interrupting a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that was starting to get on her nerves.
Yeah.
She's trying to say, here's how I feel. Stop interrupting me so that I can get it all out. And I think he did it several times because it started bothering me because I do not like when I'm fired up about something, I do not want to be interrupted.
Hold on a second. But why is it? But why? All right, I'm on board with the whole like being considerate of other people. But why is it? But why do I just have to allow for someone to fabricate some sort of crazy occurrence in their head that just was never so?
But
why do I just have to take that?
But you're talking in real life to an extent. Like we're on board with being considerate of other people's feelings. But
Yeah,
like on this
absolutely.
show, you shouldn't have to be.
But
I understand, but things didn't start going downhill until after CT dropped the bomb of "you're not ready for this final," and I think that was another big tick for her, like telling her she can't do something, which I mean that would.
But she agreed with him.
Yeah.
Again, it's just knocking her down a peg again, and then. When CT starts getting worked up, it's just natural. It's a natural reaction for him to start getting louder.
Yeah.
And she took it as he was yelling at her. And then it became a screaming match.
It's just funny that like this is such a subdued CT like at this point.
I know. It's not anything like he used to be. This is very tame for him, but still
I'd say it's tame for most arguments that we've seen on this show.
Still it resulted in a screaming match, and things are now worse than they were before the attempted apology.
I guess my question is, why is it that CT's at fault and not Big T for fabricating something that just didn't happen in her head.
Like, I'd go back to, like, this conversation wouldn't happen if it was anybody else.
Because like, I'll just tell you how I would react in a situation. Because I'm the guy who will. No one needs to tell me to apologize for something, because I will. I'm that guy that will apologize when I don't even need to. But if I'm apologizing to you, and now you're just because we're not going to get on Big T's case because CT felt like he was being character assassinated. Like, nobody wants to talk about that. And I'm not trying to... I hope to God, and I know someone's going to listen and be like, sexist. He's a sexist. And it's like, no, but, like, you can't say this person's wrong and the other person's doing the same thing and not say a thing about them. So, like, we can't, hammer on CT because he wasn't listening to Big T, and then not hammer on Big T when CT felt like he was being character assassinated. It can't be one or the other.
So the only thing I could say is if you just look at him just like from a empathetic whatever type of role, you feel like she is not at the same emotional level, the same maturity level. Like, you just feel like these people are so far apart. And, like, again, this situation is like a D- as far as challenge arguments go. Like, it did not escalate to anything. You said it's a yelling match. That's not a yelling match. Mm-hmm. They got a little annoyed and were talking over each other, but this was nothing.
It was yelling for Big T.
And that's fine. And again, like, her level of entry is very low compared to a lot of these other people. And I think going back to, what Jake said is she was agreeing with him saying, yeah, I'm not. I guess the thing is, it's one thing for you to feel that way, but when someone else says it about you, that's different. And it just confirms, like, what you feel about yourself. And so I get it. We're running in circles. She's so nice, but she's not ready. She knows she's not ready. Everyone in the house knows she's not ready, other than maybe like Nani or Gabby or something. Just because I can't get a read on Gabby as far as gameplay, and Nani, Josh has died and it's messed with her mind. And again, this is such drama that is only it's only happening because Big T is too nice to be on this show. And that's just what it comes down to. And so it ends in not a good way. She's like, I'm going to get him every chance I get from here on out. I'm going to vote him in. I'm going to make it to the final and prove him wrong. It's not happening. It's never going to happen. I'm sorry. Don't listen to this, Big T. Don't listen to our podcast. Because I'm sorry, but when is she ever going to have a position of power unless...
And we're not rooting against that.
No!
Like, let's be very clear. Like, it's just not going to happen.
It's like saying, like, your dog should win, like, Westminster Dog Show, but, like, your dog's pretty ugly and it came from the pound. And it's not that Big T's an ugly dog. It's just, it's a different level of competition.
Big T is not an ugly dog that came from the pound.
No,
I actually think Big T's kind of attractive, if I'm being honest.
I think she's super cute.
I think she's really pretty.
And going back to my analogy, some of the best dogs are from the pound. So she's a great dog. This analogy fell off the rails.
Yeah, you're giving a Jake analogy.
Here's the thing. You're
Big T's
not
pound.
meant to win the Westminster Abbey dog show. Is it Westminster Abbey? Or is that just a place in London? You're not meant to win a dog show. You're meant to go be somebody's best friend and be there when their husband dies or something like Nani's talking about. So, Big T, maybe she should have a show that's like, I'll be your friend when no one wants to be your friend.
Or I'll be your friend at all times.
Yeah, so good for you. The one thing we didn't talk about is CT just at one point laid it out as like, just tell that to my son. Like, hey, I had a chance at $1 million and I decided to go with this person. Kari brought up the Slack group earlier. Like, it's not his choice. You're saying, oh, I've gotta go to London tomorrow. Yeah, I could take this boat that'll get there maybe eventually. That's a rowboat. Or I could get on a jet and get there in 2 hours. I don't know what jets get to England in 2 hours. Maybe it depends on where you're going from, but it's better than a rowboat. So that happens.
Nam comes back from the hospital after getting
He got a big injection.
He got a big injection from a needle that's, he said it's the biggest needle he's ever seen before in his whole life, and he looked a little nervous when he was trying to measure it with his fingers. He was limping a little bit as he came back in the house, and that did not make me feel good because I was hoping it would be fixed.
It doesn't work like that.
I know.
I'm assuming they gave him like cortisone or something to like block the nerves. Like they make like nerve blocks or something that you can get that are.
Yeah, and he had said before going that he felt like it was a muscle that was bothering him.
Well, he said nerves too. He said it felt like it was pushing.
There was some sort of quote about nerve exploding.
Yeah, and like that's the part that like you just it just catches the wrong way and it's just like incapacitating. And muscles being sore is one thing, but that's the part you can't control. And so we get a challenge activated thing as Nam is like laying down trying to recuperate.
And it's late in the afternoon, which Anissa said normally it goes off first thing in the morning.
Yeah, and so they're like, wait, is this going to be a nighttime challenge? And they did have a day off, so it kind of let them catch up. And they're not stoked about it, but we haven't had a nighttime challenge this season, but we've had them in the past. And they go out, and it's immediately they go into this like creepy warehouse thing, and TJ is like, I got some news. Nam, you're medically disqualified. You got to go home. And like he was really upset. He was crying, not only on the like at the location, but in his confessional after.
He's not a quitter, that's for sure.
Yeah, I think that really like it really bugged him that because again, like
he said that he felt like he let his body down.
Well, like so if you're Nam, like let's be honest, like you're known for your body. Like he competes at high level, he's a model, like, and he trains so hard. And then he gets into a competition setting like this, and his body is the reason. Like
his body fails.
Yeah, and it just happened. Like, we saw it with Rogan a couple seasons ago, and then he came back and won. So Nam gets DQ'd. I think we all agree he's coming back.
He's coming. He's the one rookie who is hit this season.
And honestly, he hasn't
Natalie.
Oh yeah,
I think him and Natalie.
One.
I mean, the thing is, Natalie's. I don't know what her situation is now. I don't know if they're trying to have a baby or anything like that, or what's going on, or if that was just an extra thing that just happened. And so, Natalie, I would assume, gets a call back unless she's just decided, hey, we're going to transition my life pattern. And Nam, I think Nam's coming back. I think out of anyone on this rookie season, especially from the guys, like, who else you calling over him? I don't think there's a person. Like, Jay's not a rookie. Fessy's not a rookie. Joseph, no way.
Leo.
No. Michi, no.
No,
Nam is the name to call back, and you need to have some sort of continuity between seasons with newer people. And so I think Nam's going to come back. Just my personal feelings. I don't know anything about casting for 37.
I think people love Nam.
I think people like Nam. And I think people sympathize with having to put up with Lola. And so he's gone, and then we get into TJ's like, hey, welcome to your worst nightmare. It's called Mission Survive the Night. And I will say, up until this point, I knew Darrell and Amber were, in the preview for this season, they showed them competing in something like this in a cage in like a weird warehouse. And it hasn't happened yet, so I knew that they were hanging around. But we don't really know what's going on. They handcuff them. And then they're like, it's going to suck. And then it's just a cliffhanger. And so I think that's going to get us back on track for next week, where we'll have a daily in between stuff and then an elimination and then go back. And then we'll be on back to our normal type of schedule. It looks like we're going to have an eating challenge, which I'm glad to see that come back. We haven't had one of those in a while. And so
that's one of the best challenges there is.
Yeah, it used to be like a staple in the finals. Like there always was like an eating section, and they kind of have done away with that. So, do you guys have any other notes for this episode? I mean, obviously fantasy stuff coming.
I thought, considering no daily,
solid.
Solid episode.
The pacing was good.
Everything mattered.
Thank you. It didn't seem like, because the Final Reckoning was notorious about stretching situations out.
Just drama for the sake of drama
Yeah.
and filling time.
Yeah,
and
I felt like
horrible.
this moved along at a very good pace. And I honestly didn't even realize at the time that, we're going to have a cliffhanger like before a daily. And so good for the people running behind the scenes on this episode. So let's get into the superlatives for this week. Does anybody want to go first? Jake, you go first.
I think Big T got her head smashed severely.
Well, that's not. We don't do that one first. We always do who smashed some heads.
Well, that's what I did first. I'm here tonight.
Sorry, get in your microphone.
I'm here tonight. Big T got her head smashed.
Look at the difference in your audio waves.
How's everybody doing tonight?
Yeah.
Good one.
So okay, we're going to who got their head smashed first.
Big
Jake
T.
picked Big T.
Me.
Mm-hmm. She did.
Nom got hurt, then he got medically disqualified, and now I don't think I'll watch the rest of the season.
That's not true. For who got their head smashed for me, it's got to be Big T.
Yep.
I mean, you know what? No, screw that. I'm going to give it to Josh.
I knew it.
Just because you already picked Big T.
I knew it.
Because he was like, I can't believe I'm going in. And then he didn't even get all his pieces. CT destroyed him. At least Devin was close.
You know what? Had CT not picked him to go in,
He'd been like, he's afraid of me.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's exactly what would have happened.
Yeah.
He doesn't want to go against me. He's scared. So yeah, Josh, get out of here.
Yeah, get out of here. Go home.
So who smashed some heads?
I'm gonna give it to. Why'd it just leave me? I had it. I was gonna say it.
It's like a ghost.
Nani. No.
She smashed some heads?
No, Josh.
He smashed some heads?
He smashed Nani's head. Something's wrong with her.
He smashed Nani's head when he died.
The weird
Yeah.
thing is, like, he was the one that seemingly had feelings for her, and then she was
And
like, this is gross.
That was part of what didn't make any sense.
But you know what, though? That's how he is with everything. Like, going back to what Jake said, if CT didn't pick him, he'd be like, I can't believe you didn't pick me. And then, so, like, Nani is like, this is weird. And then she's like, I miss him so much. And I think they are friends, but it got weird. So what's your pick?
CT, the whole episode just kept smashing Big T's head over and over and over again.
I feel like you're malicious about that one.
No, it was just it was a recurring thing.
Again, her head shouldn't have even been able to be smashed. After War of the Worlds 2, they should have been like, see you later. So for me, for who smashed some heads, this is a tough one. This is a tough one for me.
You're supposed to come prepared to this.
I'm the most prepared for this. I'm gonna give it to the veterans in general.
That's good.
Not the Army. Let's give it to the Army.
We salute you. Thank you for your service.
No,
Lee Greenwood.
to this
so
country.
I'm going to give it to Darrell and CT as a unit. And honestly, what I should have picked instead of Josh, I should have picked everybody else who has to run that final now has to go against Darrell and CT, and that is not something you should hope for. Because,
Kyle got it.
Yeah, Kyle was the one that's like, guys, this is real bad.
Everybody was congratulating and celebrating.
Yeah.
And Kyle's like, why are you celebrating?
We just gave up Josh and
Devin,
who are the two worst that are going to be in the finals. And now we have a combined 7 championships that have an ability to run in the finals now, who were not even on the radar before this elimination. So the veterans did it, and I'm still going to give it to Josh just because he deserves it, and I can't give it to him any other time this season. But it should have been everyone who has to go in the final. So, song of the week.
Yeah.
By the way, I haven't been adding to this playlist in a while, so you just got to listen to it yourself.
So I don't know how long this band's been around for. The band is
The
called
Beatles?
Nope. Band is called Holding Absence. The song is called Beyond Belief. Has a very almost Emery-like feel to them. Very late 2000s-esque. Really easy listening kind of vibe. I think you'd actually really like this song.
You reckon?
I do.
Emery's first album, top to bottom, flawless.
Yeah, really good.
Walls.
Okay.
Really good.
Did
I say the name of the song?
Beyond Belief or
That's
something
it.
like that?
Holding Absence, Beyond Belief.
Okay.
David Brothers.
That was my stomach.
Yeah.
My stomach.
She's
made
gonna
a
pick
noise.
King's Leon.
I'm not.
Oh.
I'm not because the new album doesn't come out until Friday.
I knew it was soon.
So that'll be next week. I already know what song it's going to be because I've heard a clip of it.
Han thought I farted, by the way. So.
I didn't know what it was.
was my
Zach, you're
stomach,
going to
Zach.
love this because we talked about it earlier.
Oh, she's gonna pick Story of the Year.
Oh, wow.
She's listened to them 2 different times in the car, and I was like, "What are you doing?"
Face down?
No, until the day
What?
I die.
Face down.
Oh,
Are you
that's
thinking of
the
a
red
jumpsuit apparatus?
Jumpsuit apparatus.
That's not far off, if I'm being honest.
Yeah.
Until the day I die. Story
She
of the
listened
year.
to The Day I Die, and then what was the song that came on today? It was one of their other ones that was, I don't even know. But I was just like, she's like, you make fun of every band. And I was like, that's not true. I was like, this band in particular was just like the generic version of like all the stuff we
says
listen
that
to.
about everything.
That's not true. That's not true.
Everything.
Maybe you'd stop.
He
not
also
telling
ate
the
all the cookies.
truth. Yeah,
He did.
exactly. For me, I'm keeping with my Japanese theme. I'm gonna pick Baby Metal, the band Baby Metal, and then just the song "Gimme Chocolate." That was the first song I ever heard by them, like 5 or 6 years ago. Just imagine
Baby Metal's pretty good.
a metal band, and then you added J-pop over it. Imagine if Disney Channel made a metal band, and then for only Japanese markets. And that's what
It'd probably do pretty well.
that's what Baby Metal is, and
It would probably do well worldwide.
Baby Metal's doing pretty well worldwide. They toured all over the U.S. and stuff before the pandemic. So that's my pick. Is Gimme Chocolate.
Oh!
Good one, dummy.
It came through on there,
Oh, no.
and then
he didn't
so
put his stuff on silent like he's supposed to.
anyway, we're gonna take a quick break
He
right
just
before
offended us.
the fantasy stuff, and then we will be right back.
And we're back. This segment of your fantasy points of the week brought to you by
Chick-fil-A, eat fresh.
Okay, so look, I've got a lot of
Oh,
fantasy
gosh.
points to give out. So
Let me reposition. There we
So
go.
if you guys don't mind, please refrain.
I got
from-
you.
Because
Yeah.
it's going to make this podcast another 30 minutes longer
No,
if we do
it's
that.
1:21 in the morning. I still have to wash my hair and stuff, and then I'll have like 4 hours to sleep before work.
This is exactly what I'm talking about right here, Ann. So,
Let's
No.
get
I agree, but first, let me tell you about what I got to do tomorrow.
let's get the ball on the road.
all right, Josh's anxiety is going into a straight panic. -5 for Josh. Josh needs a new pair of pants, but
I'm only stopping you to say watch me and make sure I'm catching all the things you say.
Okay.
Because I'm not going to stop you otherwise.
Josh needs a new pair of pants because I think Devin made the reference that he crapped himself. So -5 to Josh. But Josh ain't scared. +5. Oh no!
I told you were going to drop your phone.
okay, that was in a completely different position.
Let's go.
Jake, she interrupted you.
We're interrupted.
Let's see. Kyle loves this game. 5 points.
Where's he at?
CT's a good friend. Looking out for Devin, letting him choose his opponent. 5 points to CT. Darrell ain't affected. 5 points. So let's see here. CT gets what he wants in Josh. 5 points to CT. Kyle loves this game again. 5 points. Nani told Josh that he has this. She's lying to him. -5 to Nani. CT, according to Anissa, CT is nasty when it comes to shapes. 5 points to CT. Devin with the, I think we both won it, Leroy. I gave him 10 points for that.
I
quote,
agree.
'cause that
with-
was
I
Yeah,
agree
that's
with
that
a
was
good
good. Fake glasses, Corey. 5 points.
I had a note about his glasses.
He's only saying that because Jake wants to wear those.
Devin was making Hannah nervous. That's the first live fantasy points there. -5 to Devin for making Hannah nervous. Tangerine puzzles Darrell. I gave him 10 points for that one.
Should be negative points. He can't even say tanagram.
That's a
He did catch himself, though.
Devin doesn't know what's going on. -5. Darrell's doing it for the family again. 5 points. 50 points to Darrell for the win. Shout out to Darrell. -25 to Devin because he lost. Fessy with the stupid karma comment. -5. I think that's the only points Fessy gets.
Yeah.
This episode. But shout out to Devin for owning up to, calling someone out and then losing. What is that? 5 points? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
Yeah.
He lost. He's lucky he's getting that.
CT with couple of solid quotes here. I've been beaten by some weirdos and be right back. Quick snack. 10 points.
Okay, I was about to say, are we getting for each quote? Yeah.
Yeah. CT is Nom's friend. 5 points to Nom. Look at CT glide. 5 points. He was, right? Like, he was gliding.
Yeah, Josh didn't have the form down.
Well, Josh was jumping backwards. -5.
Josh didn't even get off his platform.
So 5 points to CT for putting all his pieces in one pile and just the solid vet move. -5 to Casey for the most boring confessionals on the planet.
Oh, I zoomed in. Hold on. Where's she at? She's down here.
CT and Son do tanagrams for fun. 10 points.
One for each of them.
Yeah. CT wins 50 points. Josh loses -25. Another -10 to Josh because he never even got down. Nani doesn't want to be partners with anyone else. -5. Nani's getting a lot of negative points this episode. CT ran at the camera for his confessional. 5 points. Devin and Josh have more in common than they thought. 10 points to each of them. Let's see here. Josh would rather die than know Devin. -5.
It wasn't to know him, it was to get to know him better.
Him, yeah, sure. Yeah. Josh with the one day you'll see me in the final and I will be a challenge champion. -5 for each of those stupid takes there. -10 total.
I got it.
Yeah. Kyle doesn't know why everyone's cheering for them. That would be CT and Darrell. 5 points to Kyle. Solid logic.
Yeah.
Challenge guides CT and Darrell. 5 points for each of them. Let's see here. 5 points to CT for infiltrating and getting Cam. But Big T is embarrassed. -5.
2.
Big T.
Okay.
She also feels used. -5. Cam isn't content with the relationship between her and CT. -5. Anissa thinks this is all childish. -5.
Oh, hold on. Okay.
According to Kyle, he looks like an idiot himself. -5. But you know what? Big T wants to win the final even more now. 5 points. Darrell is loyal and faithful. Stays with Amber B. 5 points to Darrell. Kyle thinks this game is screwed. -5. He also picks Nani as his partner. -5.
Although it was the best out of the options, but just for a precedent, yeah.
Sure. Nani is in an emotional state of mind. -5.
She should be habitually -5.
Nobody wants Big T. -5. When they got back to the house, it looked like Gabby pulled out a pizza out of the freezer. 5 points to Gabby. Everybody likes pizza.
Yeah.
Nani is crying over Josh. -5. Doesn't know why she's here. -5. But Josh brought Nani to life. 5 points to Josh for that one. I know he's gone, but he resurrected somebody.
So him being dead brought brought points back.
Casey called Josh Joshy. -5 to Casey. Now she's crying. -5. Cam is a leader. 5 points. Kyle is a follower. -5.
Oh, you loved it though.
Yeah. Darrell says that's just the way the game works, brother. 5 points to Darrell. Turkey meat CT. 5 points.
All right.
Kyle was a king, but not anymore. -5. But he is taking the L to his room. 5 points. Big T feels stupid. -5. Does she remember what show she's on? -5.
God.
Cam can't be with someone who's not humble. But wait. She's not humble. -5. Nom's lower back. -5. He also has explosions on his nerves. -5.
For some reason, I thought you were going to say explosive diarrhea.
Darrell can relate. -5. Because back pain's not good for anybody.
Yeah.
And the painkillers didn't help Nom. -5. A lot of negatives coming out.
Yeah, you just run a roll on this one.
Here we go. Here's some positives here. Cam and Leroy loving. 5 points to each of them. Anissa and Nani loving. 5 points to them.
Hold on, I gotta find Nani again. You can go on.
Leroy is grateful and blessed. 5 points. Smooth champagning CT. 5 points. Let's see. Nani thinks Josh died. -5.
Again.
Nani would choose Josh over and over again. -10. She would also choose Fessy because that's what Josh would want. -5. Not a good week for Nani.
It's never a good week for Nani.
Nom feels high and tired. -5. Cam with the "you only get one body" profound quote. 5 points. Nom is glass. -5.
Oh no.
Let's see. 5 points to CT for building a friendly fire. But Big T doesn't want to be here anymore. -5. But 10 points to her and CT for their honesty session. Another 5 to CT for being real honest, telling Big T that she's not ready for this final. I liked the life coming out of Big T from this. 10 points, even if it was unwarranted and, not really necessary. 10 points to her for standing up. It's misguided. -5. But 5 points back to 5 points back to Big T for the Coach Carter reference.
Yeah, I did appreciate that.
Also, she gave herself a wrestling name, the Grudge Keeper. 5 points. Nom got the needle. 5 points. Leroy and Casey ain't got no blood. 5 points.
To both?
Yeah, to both. Anissa isn't sure what's going on with the challenge activated lots. -5. Leroy can't stand TJ. -5. Kyle is annoyed. -5. Nom's not ready. -5. This is all a response to the challenge activated.
Yeah, I got you.
And then Nom at one point made a quote about having to think about death. -5.
God, he's gonna be way negative this episode.
Cam doesn't know what's happening. -5. Nom is medically unfit. -15. He's gone. Honestly, another -10 to him because he said it's the saddest moment in his life. But he's thankful. 5 points. Leroy's scared. -5. And Corey is up all night with the kids. 5 points for being a good dad. I feel like I have closed most fantasy segments with some weird 5-point give out to Corey for.
I don't even know.
I don't remember.
And that is it. And so here's what's gonna happen: is it's a good time for a break because I actually have to urinate as well. So
You're the only one that has to urinate.
Yeah, we're gonna take a quick break while Zach adds these points up. Quick break. And we're back, both from break and from the restroom. Again, that segment brought to you by Chick-fil-A. Eat fresh. Zach, what are things looking like?
It is an interesting week.
Boy, let's go. Let's go.
So I know we had for sure a couple of things happen.
I lost 3 people in 1 week.
She did lose 3 people.
Is this starting to break even?
You're gonna find out. So just do a quick recap. As of last week, I barely took the lead. I had 640 for the season. Hannah had 610. Jake was very far behind with 320.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, this episode's gonna change a lot of things. So Hannah having a lot of people left.
This killed her this week.
It's killing her in the last 2 weeks because they're the only people to give points to, and she has a lot of really dumb people on her team. Mm-hmm. And so sticking her with Josh, like we did, it actually paid off. So Fessy,
she had the Josh and Nani pairing.
And Devin who went home, and Nam who went home.
Oh, man, Han.
So Fessy gave you -5. Kyle gave you -15, which was a wild card.
Yeah.
Corey gave you 10.
Was he the high scorer on her team?
Yeah. Corey gave you 10.
He didn't do jack this episode.
Cam's equaled out to 0. Nam gave you -45.
Oh, man.
Devin gave you -10. Nani gave you -40. Gabby gave you 5. So Gabby and Corey were the first and second place. And then Josh gave you negative 50. You ended up with a negative 150 for the week. That's almost half of Jake's total score.
Oh my gosh, man.
So that happened. CT gave me the highest single score that we've had from one player.
A big, not one negative point.
No, and he gave me 140 by himself.
That's
now to be fair, I got 5 from Leroy, and then Big T ended up as a 0 after all of that. She had like 10 or 12 scores, so she got a 0. So I ended up with 145 for the week. Jake got 80 from Darrell. Finally, Darrell's paying off for you. And then you got negative 10 from Casey and negative 5 from Anissa. So for the week, you're at 65.
Okay.
So that means as of today, March 4th,
Thursday.
Jake, you are still in third place with 385. However,
progress.
You are only 75 points away from Hannah in second place. She has 460 now. And I took a commanding lead. I have 785.
Isn't that wild how it can just flip?
In
2 weeks.
What happened was we had a lot of people go home early, and they weren't like necessarily huge hitters. We had some big guys, Nelson, Wes, whatever, Ashley go home. But like, she's had so many people hang around, but they're not like great competitors, and it's become like the downfall. And so we'll see what happens again. Like all these people making the finals, like we'll see what happens. But she did lose 3 people in 1 week, so it's getting close. But man, negative 150 is for sure the biggest negative week we've had, and 140 for one player is for sure the biggest single score we've had.
Yeah.
And I don't know if we've ever had a week where we had anywhere near this many scores and it was all positives from CT.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like if a Big T Stan was scoring this, it wouldn't have gone that way, but it's how the cookie crumbles. Yeah, Jake, you got some life in this now.
I'm in it. I'm not out.
You're not out. Like, I don't know if you're in it yet, but you're not out. So that's it for this week. We will be back with you guys next week for episode 13. Why are you looking at me like that? Are we not going to be back this week?
No.
We're not going to be back this week?
No, it's almost 2:00 in the morning.
Someone turned the off switch on you, didn't they?
The off switch on. So, yeah, we'll be back with you. And as I said earlier, patreon.com/smashingheadspodcast. It does have our Twitch thing that Jake and I dominated at. It's up on there. But if you're not our Patreon, you can get on the Couch Podtators Twitch channel and check that out. But it's open to all Patreon levels. It's not paywalled behind anything other than just joining the Patreon. And so that's up there. Check out some other stuff, and check out our P.O. Box, which is in the show notes. It's 3141, but check the notes for that. And then, as always, follow us on Twitter, rate and review on iTunes. That helps us out, and we will be back with you next week unless Hannah cancels it for some reason.
Have a good night, everyone.